So hey guys, what's going on? So some Nintendo news came out today. We're just gonna blast through this really quick, short video today. Some thoughts on some things going on, but just to let you know, if you have the Nintendo Online service, the rewind feature has been added now. So you just update that, and the rewind feature is much more streamlined, which makes sense. You know, the Switch has got more powerful than something like the is more power than the NES or SNES Classic, I should say, that also supported like a rewind feature. So this you can actually go through and there's like a series of thumbnails that will go back for however long. I don't know what the time is. I haven't messed with it. Like if it's just like 30 seconds or something like that. But that'll help guide you to where you want to go to avoid whatever mistake or something that happened in the game. Where on the classic, it was like you get like a 30-second or 1 minute block, typically in the RPG games, and it starts from the beginning when you go back, and you can kind of skip forward and back with like a little progress bar up on the top. But so that's pretty cool. And then Wrecking Crew and DK3 also came out today, so yay. Also, Luigi's Mansion is coming out August 31st, so just in time for Halloween, barely. And I'm really looking forward to playing this. I was really excited to see this at E3, and what it's turning into. It looks awesome. I like the whole multiple levels of the hotel, and then the scare scraper for the multiplayer looks like it's going to be fun. So, and just the art style in this game is fantastic. I don't know what Nintendo's doing, but to me it looks like one of the better looking games on the Switch. So. And then one of the things I think a lot of people were worried about with the Switch Lite when it was announced is the current Switch getting kind of left behind, but that's not the case with the two extra bits of news here. So there's new Joy-Con colors coming out if you care. I probably won't get into it. I just rebuilt my Joy-Cons actually, and I'll probably actually be doing a base top conversion in the future to have a D-pad on mine. So stay tuned for that. And so there's now a neon blue and neon yellow, and a neon purple and neon orange. I like the purple and the orange the most here. I think these two look really cool together. Um, the yellow is just a little too loud for me, and that's why I don't like it. Same reason I don't. If I was to get a Switch Lite, I would get the yellow, but I think the yellow is just a little too loud on that too. So I wish Nintendo would go for like a slightly darker yellow, but it doesn't matter. This isn't a product for me anyways. Alright, and we're on Nintendo's website here on the compare list for the Nintendo Switch Lite and the Nintendo Switch. So obviously the differences on the things with the Switch, you're going to get the Joy-Cons, you're going to get the little grip for the Joy-Cons, the straps, so you can use it like in a remote mode. It's going to have the motion sensing in the Joy-Con, it's going to have the HD rumble, all that fun stuff. So that's what you're getting for your $100. On top of that now, and like I've been saying since I think March, so what I believe has been going on is the media caught wind of this guy getting made. And then also somehow heard from somebody in the fab or something like that, or the manufacturing process, that a different Switch is coming. And they took that as, they probably interjected that Pro thing in there as like, oh, Pro's coming or something. It's the same idea as when you're a kid, right? And you were in school and the teacher did that experiment where she whispered something in one of the kid's ear and you're supposed to pass it along all the kids in the class and it comes out as something different. That's how you kind of have to hear news like this. And so as we were getting further along, I was seeing more evidence that it was just a revision. And that makes more sense actually, because what happens when you're dealing with a third party like Nvidia that doesn't own their own fab either. So they have to take time for other manufacturers trying to come in and fabricate chips from one place, which is typically TSMC for them. And if they have to manufacture 20 nanometer chips along 16 nanometer or 12 nanometer, that takes up a lot of time out of their day because they have to set up for a new fabrication process. So if they can die shrink the X1 in this case down to a 16 nanometer, then they can manufacture along other 16 nanometer parts, and that saves them time and money in the process, right? And for Nintendo, it's good for them because then they get a cooler, more power efficient, or higher clocking processor because it's more refined at a smaller process like that. And so I think that's what we were saying when people were saying there was going to be a Switch Pro is just a revision, and I called this like last March in my video. And here it is. So now we have confirmed that the 16 nanometer Americo that's in the Switch Lite, which amazingly is getting 3 to 7 hours. And this is the thing, I'm going to bring up some points here. For some people, are a little bit angry that the OG Switch is going to be getting more battery life than the portable, but I have some thoughts on that. But we're going to be going from 2.5, and these hours here, these 2.5, 4.5, 3, it's got to be a really bad worst case scenario. I don't know what you're playing at that, but here they use Zelda as like a, I guess like a guide. And they're saying 3 hours here, 4 hours there, and 5.5 hours for Zelda in portable mode on the new revision of the Switch. Things I'm curious, is this going to, how is this going to work? Is this like accurate time? Because some of this stuff, like I said, these lower numbers seem really, really off to me. Like playing Zelda, I've gotten up to 3.5, so even 3 hours is a little bit harsh on that. Alright, 2 reasons I don't think the battery life being longer on the OG Switch is a big deal as it is on the Lite, as a lot of people were harping on. So one question I'm going to ask right now, and just think to yourself, if this, and my original criticism of the Switch Lite, if this had the ability to dock onto a TV, because honestly, when I use my Switch now, I use it as a portable device. I'm not detaching Joy-Cons. I detach them to use them separate for a lot of games and just lay in bed. I actually like that. It's comfortable. But I've never handed this Joy-Con to somebody else to play Mario Kart. It just doesn't happen in my day-to-day routine, and I'm sure that's the same way for a lot of other Americans. It's very much my device, and I like putting it on the TV and I like taking it off. I would have liked this and not needing the separate Joy-Cons and having the D-pad if it would have attached to a TV. That was my original criticism. Now, a lot of people were upset that the Switch Lite has lower battery life than the new revision of the Switch, which is coming out in August. So a little bit ahead of the Switch Lite. But would you have that same criticism if this was not a portable only? Let's say this could dock, okay, just like this one. Would this be as big of an issue to you? Because the thing is people are having problems with this having lower battery life being a portable only device. Alright, thing number 2 to think about. The Switch Lite is getting this battery life off of a smaller 3300 milliamp battery. Looks like the revision of the Switch is still going to be using the same 4300 milliamp battery. So, it's just because of the smaller process, same battery is getting this much life out of it as opposed to this before. That's just progress. So let's say you get the 15% warning and you want to keep playing. You got to put it on the dock, right? You play on the TV. One thing you can say about this is when you put it on the TV, because it's going into the higher mode for TV output, so up to 768 megahertz to, output to the TV at 1080 or whatever, the Switch unfortunately goes into a trickle charge mode, and it takes it hours to recharge at this. But if you just plug it in, just stick it in a dock with it off, then it takes me about 90 minutes on that current battery to get back up to 100% from 15% once I get the warning. On this one, because it's a smaller battery, if it's still using the same charging capability and stuff, you're going to be looking at much significantly less time than, 90 minutes. You're going to be looking at around probably 60 minutes to recharge the battery here. And then if this comes with an adapter, you plug it in the wall where you're still playing portable, you're going to get that full recharge rate. It's not going to trickle charge because it has no TV mode. So this is going to charge faster than this will for some people, because a lot of people have this are just going to hook it up to the TV and play. And you can still play it while it's charging. It's not a big deal. Or another thing, you get yourself a battery bank like I have, hook it up to that, like one of the power cores for the Switch, and that can output the energy needed to play in portable mode and also charge at the same time. So that's just something to think about there, the differences between these. So I don't think this having a little bit less battery life is as disparaging as some people make it sound because it's a portable only device. they just have differences. And I think those differences will become more aware once these two devices are out in the wild and people are using about them and having conversations about the benefits and, the pros and cons of both devices. But I'm still going to argue, if you're looking at a Switch and you're not really strapped for cash or really hard up, or you're not buying it for a kid, you're buying it for yourself. Like, granted, this is a lighter device, this is a smaller device. I don't necessarily see that it being smaller is a good thing. I don't think it's the most ergonomic device out there, that's for certain. Look at the difference of features you're getting for $100. And on top of that, the battery life now, once you get it. So how can you tell if you're getting a new Switch? So GameSpot has this really good article on how you can tell the differences between the Switch Revision and the Switch. So the Switch that I have came in this box, except with the neon colors. The Revision is going to come both the gray and neon in this style box. So if you're looking at picking up a new Switch and you want the Revision in August when it comes out, that's what you need to look for. If you're getting this, you're getting the old busted one with the battery that's a little bit worse. If you get this one, you're getting a much better battery life. They're just going to try to roll it out. They did the right thing by announcing that they're doing this, so people, don't all of a sudden start getting new Switches and people are buying old Switches at the same time and they're like, hey, my battery life sucks, why is yours better? So if you want the better battery life, this is the box you need to look for, not this one. Very easy to understand. If you've got the white background, you got the old one. If you got the red background, you've got the new one. So my opinion still stands. From my point of view, if I was getting a Switch today, I would just spend the extra $100 and get the better one, in my opinion. The Lite is cool, it has a place, but it's not for me, and it's not, honestly, I think it's still mostly for kids and people that are really traveling a crap ton, but I don't think, the Switch is going to be that much of a difference. The Switch Lite for you're not going to put it in your pocket or anything like that. Alright, so here's my Switch right here, and the way to understand this is if you take a Joy-Con off, that's pretty much the width of the Switch Lite. So I don't think saving that much little extra in your bag and a little bit slightly lower, because it basically right where the border of the screen is, the black bar, is about how short it is, and then they're the same thickness. That's not a selling point to me either, personally, and that's what I was trying to say in my last video. So if you misunderstood, there you go. Clarified it for you a little bit. So anyways, if you guys like this video, sorry it was a short one. Just want to get that news out there, and I will see you guys later on. I'll try to get some stuff done this weekend. Alright, bye.